Good morning to everyone who got connected in this online webinar. This webinar is organized by the Entrepreneurship Development Cell of Electronics and Communication Engineering Department in association with Institution Innovation Council. The topic for today's webinar is Critical Thinking for Students Innovators. So today we have Mr. V. Jackins, Assistant Professor, National Engineering College, Kovilpatti. He did his Bachelor of Engineering in Jairaj Annapakiyam CSI College of Engineering and Master of Engineering in National Engineering College and PhD in Anna University, Chennai. He did 3 research publications, 2 national conference, 5 international conference, 4 international journals and 1 national journal. It's really an honor to have such an eminent person as a resource person. Now it's time to hand over the session to Dr. V. Jenkins.
Thank you, madam, for your introduction.
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
very happy to be a part of this workshop. Thank you for inviting me to deliver the special lecture in the topic on critical thinking. And now I'm going to enter into the presentation. Okay, now I'm going to start the presentation here. I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, yes.
Okay, sorry for the technical delay. I hope now it's visible to you. Okay, next. So the thinking is all about how we are going to manipulate the information and how do we think, and we can also able to the thinking ideas may be implementable or non implementable. That is not a issue, but we need to think, then only we can able to find the better solution, and it is also helpful for us to take some decision in a positive manner. So these are all the fundamental thing related to the thinking process. So the next point related to the thinking is it is a skilled work. So the AI mander is going to be thought about or describing the thinking process. It is not a true that we are naturally endowed with the ability to think clearly and logically. So it is not a natural process. Thinking is not only a natural process. Everybody, we can expect all the peoples are going to be thinking different manner. It is not at all common for all the factors. So without learning how or without practicing, it is not possible. So the simple example related to this thing is if one person is going to approach the problem in different manner, another one person approach the problem in another one manner. So the process is how do we approach the problem. So it will be vary depending upon the individuals. That is a factor. So the broad classification of this thing is going to be classified into first one is a artistic thinking. It is one kind of thinking. The simple example for this kind of artistic thinking is it is similar to a dream-like thinking. The simple word is dreaming. We don't know but how reality is happen, whether any possibility is there or not, whether is it implementable or it will be useful for others or not. That is not at all issue, but they may think. That is one kind of thinking, that is called artistic thinking. Another name is also autism. Okay, we may think anything, but how it will be implementable into the reality, we don't know. So that is a factor. So the simple diagram is going to be explained what is mean by artistic thinking. Yeah, the people are sitting in the max class, but they are thinking in about different perspective. Only one person is going to be think related to that mathematics. Other persons are thinking different manner. It is not related to that topic. They may think in different manner, but it is not realistic or not. It is related to that thing. So the main thinking related to that factor is realistic thinking. The realistic thinking is what tally exactly what with the reality. So this is a real type of thinking. Whether it is amenable or not, whether it will be a fact or not, whether it may happen or not, whether it will be a discussion. After discussion, we may conclude with some points or not. These are all the different manners. So this is a applicable one, and this will be a implementable one, and we can able to take some decision based on the realistic thinking. So we must think with real example and reality. So after we discuss something, after we can engage with some thinking, but that is a realistic one, and we can also comes with the conclusion based on that thing. So the realistic thinking is one of the important factor. So as a student, as a evaluator, as a inventor, we need to know the realistic thing in a clear manner, and we can also think in that perspective. That will be useful, that will be helpful for us to move into the different dimensionality, and we can also come up with the real fact. I have also completed 2 projects related to the new gen IEDC funded by central government with the fund of 5 lakhs. And we have also developed 2 different products using that funds. So during that process also we can also how it will be useful for others, whether it is be a realistic one or not. If you are thinking in the artistic manner, we can't able to come to the conclusion. So we need to know whether it will be social relevant or whether it will be that product is going to be used by other or not, what are all the expectation of the others and how it will be helpful for us. These are all the points are going to be fall into the category of realistic thinking only. So these points are classified with the controlled environment and constructive and directive and realistic and factual based. So these are all the things are very important for our executable scenario. First one, the realistic thinking. What is meant by realistic? So looking at all aspect of situation, positive, negative and neutral before making the conclusion. So we need to think. So it is not only a single stretch. So it is having the all the perspective. We need to look up that problem, positive manner, negative manner and the neutral. What are all the impacts that process is going to be create. So we make ourselves looking into that problem and we can make the balance into the world. So that realistic thinking is going to be based on the discussion during that group. We can also able to understand all the points are there, what are all the positivity, what are all the negativity for implementing this task, how we can able to manage all those things. These are all the points are going to be needed for positive thinking that will be concluded into the fruitful outcome. So the first one is the reasoning. We can also hear about that where reasoning. If you are enter into the placement paradigm, we can also how the reasoning skills are there for the particular student. All those things we can check. How the student going to approach the problem, how he provide the solution for that thing. These are all the things are fall under the category of reasoning. So it is nothing but we can use the existing knowledge to draw the conclusion and make the prediction and construct the explanation. So we need to apply the existing knowledge for the system. Okay. So and the generation of evaluation to claim in relation to the supporting argument and evidence. Based on the evidence, we can apply the solution. So it is also going to determine how people comprehend, evaluate and accept claim and argument. So it means that will be a skill. Whether you are going to apply one problem, approach the problem and provide the solution, and all the peoples are going to be look up that problem and accept the claim and the argument. Somebody says it is not acceptable, somebody says it is not a right method. Different types of arguments may there, but we can also register. I am also going to register one point. If one problem is there means it is not only having a single solution, multiple solutions are there for the particular problem. In which manner we approach the problem, how we can provide the solution, and that solution is going to be amenable for the particular problem or not. That is a fact is there in this case. Next one, it is a difference between inductive reasoning and deductive reasoning. The first point is going to be provide the means that from the specifics to the general. Inductive means specifics to the general and the deductive means the general to the specific. Some peoples are going to be talk about in inductive manner. Generally they are talking. Okay. I am commonly use this point. Okay. The trees are very greenish like that, but that is not a specific one. What kind of tree, what about that characteristics, these are all those things are not going to be processed in a clear manner. So the inductive reasoning, it is a overall thing and it is also having the generic factor, how we approach the problem in a generic manner. But the deductive reasoning is also helpful for the critical thinking. So the deductive reasoning is leads to the process of critical thinking. We need to have a specific focus related to the particular problem, then only we can able to understand the specificity of the particular scenario. Three people's names are given, they are also dancer, therefore all dancers are thin. Okay, that is a generic term. So that will be specifically mentioned that all dancers are thin. That short form, it is specific. Karan is a dancer, that is also specific, therefore Karan is a thin. So specifically we can mention the factor related to the Karan, but Michael and Krishna, that name is also there in the common forum. Based on that, we can specifically focus on that thing. These remaining two example is also going to be focused on that factor. Okay, and next point. So 9 major type of thinking skill: concrete, divergent, analytical, sequential, holistic, convergent, creative, and critical. So our focus is on the critical thinking. So that is a ninth thinking skill. So we must know how important the critical thinking is. Okay, based on these all the factors and analysis, finally we can conclude with the critical thinking process. Next, the divergent thinking and convergent thinking. The previous example also we can also use different types of thinking. Based on the imagination, we can also say some points. The trees are greenish, but it is not a true factor. Some trees are having the leaf with the red color, some trees are having the leaf with the green color, yellow color, and different types of different colors of leaves are there. But in general, we can, by based on the imaginations, we can tell some point. Okay, so the divergent thinking is based on the imagination, and convergent thinking is based on the logic. So the convergent thinking is going to be included for the critical thinking. So it is also called as critical thinking, convergent thinking. So we must apply the logic. As engineering students, we need to apply the logic. That is very very important. The lay peoples and other peoples are think in the imagination manner, but as a innovator, as a student, as a engineer, we must think in the form of logical manner. So that is very very important. So the imagination is going to be based on the ideology, and the logic is based on the fact. We must provide the answer for all the facts. So that is very very important. And one more thing is lateral thinking, that is thinking outside the box. That is another one thing. So out of the box thinking is there, but if you want to conclude with something, if you want to arrive with some solution, we must approach the problem in this manner, using the logic. How we can provide the better solution, how we can able to understand the problem, how we can execute the thing in a realistic manner, what are all the feasibility and possibilities are there. These are all the things are very very essential. Next, how the exploration of possibilities lead into the convergent thinking. That convergent thinking is going to provide the best solution. Okay, so the divergent thing, based on the divergent thinking, we can have lot of points, we can have n number of inputs we can receive, explore all the possibilities, everything is received. But if you want to take the decision, if you want to think in the critical manner, we must conclude with the proper solution, and that solution is going to be provide a best one, and that will be a emerging one, and that will be a implementable one. So all the divergent thinking are not a executable one. So n number of inputs we can receive, based on that we can analyze and we can decide what to do, what we can eliminate. That conclusion is going to be very much essential for critical thinker. As a critical thinker, we must know the executable part, we must know the implementable one, we must know the customer's perspective, we must know how much impact that solution going to create in their life or in their process. That is very very important. So the next thinking related to the problem solving, creative thinking, and critical thinking. So the critical thinking and creative thinking is there, but the main objective is to provide the better solution for the problem. That is very, very important. The critical thinking is focused on the analysis, breakdown, compare, categorize, list, sequence, and rank. Analysis is very much essential. If you want to analyze, we can apply the logic. Without applying the logic, we can't able to analyze the particular problem. What are all the problem is there in the existing system? We must clearly analyze the thing. Next, break down the entire problem, and we can compare with the other thing and categorize the problem, list out the problem, and sequence related sequence are combined, and we can make a rank. Priority is going to be given. So I'm going to deal with these points and how it will be implementable in the thinking manner. Okay. Next, creative thinking plus critical thinking leads to enter into the problem solving, and it provide the better solution. So creative thinking is imagine, invent, change, design, create. But critical thinking is deal with the analyze, breakdown, compare, categorize, list, sequence, and rank. So as a imaginations, we can have a lot of points, but we need to analyze, we need to break down, we need to compare. These are all the categories, these are all the capabilities and qualities are expected by the technical person. The critical thinking skill is needed for all the engineering student with the innovative ideology, with the innovation, how it is best from the existing one, how far it is better than the previous one, how it creates impact, how it provide the better solution for the existing one. These are all the questions must rise before you enter into the problem solving capability. Next one is a innovation. How the innovation is going to be happen? If you want to innovate, we must apply the thinking process. Critically, we can think, but three factors are very important. First one is what is desirable to the user. What is desirable to the user? That is very important. So invention is evolved based on the need, based on the expectation, based on the desire of the people. So simple thing, if the washing machine is invented means some need is there from the people to provide the solution. That problem is taken and they have applied the better solution, and the technical factor, feasibility, and other thing, and what are all the essentials are needed, how we can manipulate, how we can implement, how we can provide the supply. These are all the things are very much essential. So what is possible with the technology? The desire is to provide the best solution for washing the clothes. Next, what is the possibility with the technology? How much the technology is going to be contributed? Whether it is possible to design the particular machine using the existing technology or not. These are all the things. Second point. Next, what is viable in the marketplace? If we launch the particular product into the market, whether it is viable for all the peoples, or what are all the target for the particular sales target, whether the middle class or upper middle class or higher level people or the lower level people. These are all the things are need to be analyzed before we can conclude with the better solution. So this is an innovation, that is a expectation from the different sides. So Barack Obama is also quoted the point of innovation is a creation of something that improve the way we live our life. So what is an objective for the critical thinking? We must provide or create some better impact into the human lives, into the human lives. That is what everything is going to be evolved. That is what everything is going to be innovate. So any new product is going to be launched, if any software is going to be launched, if any other mechanical product is going to be launched into the market, how it creates the impact in our lives. So the best example is a mobile phone. It is also a best example for the critical thinking process. Okay, they can also identify the need, they can also identify what are all the current scenario is going on in the marketplace. That is what they have convert every phone into the smartphone. The usage of smartphone is going to be increased day by day. Okay, more than 70% of the populations are going to be use a smartphone. Okay, that is one of the best innovation that improve the way we live our life. We no need to visit the bank, we no need to visit the post office, we no need to visit any other government office. It means everything is automated. So we can also able to access all the provision, all the betterment using our phones because that provision is given. So using that mobile phone we can use that facility, we can also improve our life. So during that time we can engage for our betterment, our thinking, and our better life, all those things. So innovation is something fresh. It means the new ideology is expected. Innovation is any idea that add value to the user's life, add value to the customer's life, add value to the human being. So the innovation is significantly positive change. The positive change, the Scott Berkman is going to be highlight this point. It is a positive change. What kind of positivity is there during that innovation? What kind of innovation is change the create a new dimension of performance? New dimension of performance. So normally we can use the ordinary mobile phone. What about the speed of the particular phone? What about the function and what about the application is available in that thing? That is very less. Okay. So now the shift is going to be there from the conventional phone to the smartphone. That dimensional change is there. So the performance of the particular device is improved. It is moved into another one dimension, that performance. So it creates a new dimension of performance that innovation creates. So that these are all the different examples they have quoted by their perspective. So as an innovator, as a thinker, we must have the expectation, we must have the ideology for creating the impact, creating the betterment, using that kind of innovation platform. Okay, next, the type of innovations are highlighted into the factor. Okay, and that will be grouped into three. First one is a process and product and the increment outcome driven and the breakthrough disruptive business model and service. Okay, as an engineer, actually you may come across the subject software engineering. If you already learn the software engineering, you must already understand the process of software engineering, the development, what is the first phase, the communication, next planning, modeling, construction, deployment. These are all the factors. So we must initialize the process. They initialize the process with the basic discussion. Okay, during that communication, what is the existing problem is there, why you are going to create this software, why you are going to move into the product, what is the reason behind this thing, what is currently going on, what are all the process are there in your existing system, how we can provide the betterment using that thing. These are all the things are initially discussed. Based on that one only we can move into the product development phase. Okay, so how to improve the productivity, how to improve the betterment in the existing system. For that thing they can also apply the incremental model. The increment is one of the important factor. Okay, as an increment process, we are not getting the entire product in a single stretch. Multiple stretch of delivery is there in the incremental model. As a designer, as a designer You don't produce the product as a single stage. 20% of the completion handover. Another 20% of the product work is completed. That is handover. It means that 20% of the process is going to be evaluated and that will be experienced by the user, because that user only asks these kind of invention, ask in kind of the expectation in the new product. If that person is going to be involved into the process, we can understand how he felt. Based on that thing, you can get the input from their side, and we can also get the input, and that will be amenable into the next increments. Okay, so that is a important factor is there in this case. Next, it is outcome driven. It is not only a vadi thing. What are all the things we can talk? That is not a matter. How we can create the outcome. Outcome is nothing but the output. Okay, that output is very, very important. Next factor is related to the, it is a new way in which people manage and share the resources. How we can manage. It is similar to the product or the project. If project is there, means a number of people are going to be working into that thing. We can also use the resources. The resource is also going to be shared. Okay, and if you want to innovate, we need to break through. We need to break through all those things. Innovation that generate a paradigm shift, the technology or science. For example, transistors. Okay, by using the transistor we can do lot of things. Actually, previously we can use n number of transistors individually for executing something. Now crores and crores of transistors are embedded into the single VLSI chip. As a ECE students, you can understand how it creates, how fast it perform the process. All those things you know. So we can break through. And as a innovator, we must understand how to segregate all those things, how to classify all those things. Based on that, we can enter into the business model. How the developed product is going to be launched into the market, how we can provide the best standalone project into the market. These are all the things. It is only based on the innovation. If there is no innovation is there in your developed product, it will not be succeeded into the market. Okay, the simple example for the thing is the Apple Corporation, Apple International Corporation is also going to be the best example for critical thinking or the design thinking process. Okay, they have some uniqueness in their product. They have some uniqueness is there in the product. Okay, their CEO is also now the Tim Cook is a CEO of the Apple Corporation. Okay, and last 20 years or 15 years they have created a big impact into the electronics market. Okay, all the new kind of technology, all the new kind of paradigm shift they have introduced into the market. If new iPhone is going to be launched into the market, means definitely some new technology or new features or new functions may be included. Okay, and they have also create some uniqueness. Every September they have launched new product into the market. So some identity is there, some uniqueness is there, some specificity is there, some innovation is there. Okay, new technology, new improvement, new features, new functionality, and the software, they are also having the unique software. So as an innovator we must stand alone, then only they can able to succeed into the market. So that is a simple and a good example for the creative thinking. So some points may create some big impact. So that thing is going to be, first point is a human center is a core. Okay, as a product, if you develop new product, that product is going to be used by some human being. So that will be a human center is a core factor for that thinking. Okay, if you involve into the design thinking, if you involve into that process, The main and major factor is a human center is a core, and it encourage organizing focus on the people they are creating for, which leads to the better product, service, and internal process. Okay, and the internal process. From that word, I want to say some points related to that thing. If your process is very clear, if your process is having the quality, we can expect the better quality into the product. If the process quality is not up to the expected level, definitely we may fail into the product development process. Okay, so the critical thinking is related to the process, and that leads to the product. So process is nothing but from the beginning of the initialization, of the particular product development. Okay, how we can communicate with others, how we can make a plan, how we can make the schedule, how we can segregate, how we can develop, what process they have used, what methodology they have used, what kind of factors we may focus for creating that thing, whether we can maintain the standard or not. Some ISO standards like that for food processing, for the industry, as well as the institution. Everybody is having some standard, whether they have proper methodology, proper process they have used or not for executing the educational process, or executing the food preparation process, or executing the industrial product development. All those factors is related to the process. So the process is very very important. So when you sit down to create a solution for a business need, the first question should always be, what's the human needs behind it? What is the need for the particular product? What is the, if you want to innovate something, okay, you innovate, but whether that innovation is going to be helpful for the user or not, whether that innovation is going to be create the impact in the humans being life or not, that thing is very much essential. So that's what they have used some points and use some bad, that is called the ground reality. The ground reality that in this diagram is also going to be represent the user, client, customer, stakeholder, borrower, lender, all those things. But the main thing is a people. The people is very very important. The process is going to be start with the people, not only a client or the user. They may anybody else may use your product at the end of the thing, but before start the innovation, before start the initialization of the thinking, okay, so you must take the role of the individual person. As an individual person, this thinking process it leads to create that product. That product is going to be useful for me or not, that product creates the impact into the individual's life or not. These are all the points we must conclude with that thing. Other than that, it will be a waste one. So the design thinking is a human center and collaborative. It is not only a single process, it is a collaborative process, and we need to approach the problem solving that is creative, iterative, and practical. So it is a creative one, it is iterative one. Iterative one is nothing but increment one. Okay, in a single stage we don't produce a product. Multiple delivery, multiple iteration is there. You may already done some experiments in the chemistry laboratory. Iteration 1, iteration 2, iteration 3, you increase the chemical content, based on that it produces a value. It may vary, okay, and it will be a practical one. So if you involve into that thinking process, we must have a creativity, iterative, and practical. So next thing, as a design thinker, you must conclude with some fruitful outcome. What are all the thing? What are all the things are behind the screen? First one is a people. Next one is a technology. Third one is a business. People means people's desirability. What is the desire of the people? How much expectation is there from the people side? how it creates impact. That thing is very very important. Next we can move into the technology. As an engineer, as a technical person, we must know whether that desire is going to be implemented into the fruitful outcome or not. Okay, that is a technology. So the people don't know how much feasibility and possibility is there in the technology to develop the particular project or the product. So that feasibility leads to the technology, and we can also use into the multiple dimension, and that leads to the business process. So the viability is going to be checked in the business perspective. Okay, as a everything, if one product is going to be launched into the market, one new technology is going to be launched into the market, whether it is viable, whether it is able to buy, whether that product is going to be target what kind of customer. Okay, lower middle class or upper middle class or higher level people or lower level people, these are all the viability is going to be needed. So you can take the survey from the lower middle class. Okay, you can take the survey from lower middle class, and their needs and everything is you can analyzed. Based on that you can apply the technology. The feasibility is also going to be analyzed. But as a business product you can launch into the market with the price range of 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs, means that product definitely not viable by the people. Okay, so that product is only viable, that product is only purchased by the higher level people or higher profile people only. So that thing is very very important. So as a thinker, as a developer, we must know all the points in our minds, then only that product or your software, anything you have developed using that thinking process is successful, otherwise it may fail. Next one, the design thinking comprises the mindset and modes. The mindset is very very important. If you don't have a proper mindset for that thing, we no need to achieve the best outcome, no need to achieve the expected outcome. So that thinking process is a mindset. So mindset of the people is very very important. Okay, if you not read the mindset of the individual people, we are unable to attract that people, unable to attract any product with the reach of the particular individuals. That is very very important. So that empathy is a first process in the design thinking process or any critical thinking process. The empathy is very very important. As an individual, from the individual's perspective, how they can feel, how they can expect, how they can use the product, how they can expect the new product, how the product is going to create the impact in their life. These are all the points are going to be collected only if you are think in that perspective. Okay, as an engineer you don't think. As an engineer you can remove all your egos and all your professional experience and all those things. You just forget that I am engineer. You just think I am just a layman. From their point of view you can think how it creates impact, how much the affordability is there for the particular people, all those things. So you can show that thing, don't tell. First thing, you show that thing, don't tell all the explanation about that thing. Next you can experiment. Okay, so first first thing is very very important as empathy. Next, don't share the content. Finally you can experiment, then only we can able to find the best one. Next point is mindfulness. Second one is action oriented. Mindfulness is very very important. As a thinker we must have a better ideology, we must have a huge knowledge regarding that thing, then only we can able to think, then only we can able to execute all those things. Next, it is action oriented. It is not only a valid thing. Okay, whatever the thing we can share, it is not at all a matter how that mindfulness is going to be converted into the action. Next, final one is a collaboration. It means if you want to think and act as an individual, we can't able to achieve any laurels. As a team only we can able to achieve, so that collaboration is needed. Okay, different people's involvement is needed, different people's perspective is needed, different people's contribution is needed. Finally we can collect and combine all those things, and finally we can come up with the fruitful product. Okay, the first point is for the critical thinking is empathy. It is a affective empathy, somatic empathy, and cognitive empathy. Okay, so it is not only a process, it creates the better solution in their point of view. Okay, so in their point of view we must know the ability to respond to others emotional appropriately. Okay, what is the expectation, how they felt, how they expect in the new product, how the product is going to change their life, how the product is going to create some impact in their life. These are all the things we can understand from their point of view, then only we can able to create the successive product. What is an innovation culture? Social environment that enable the member and the students to develop and implement innovation. What is mean by innovation? That is a culture. What is mean by innovation? You can keep on asking new challenging question, regulatory conducting the training and other program, put together diverse team again and again. If you want to innovate as an individual, you can't able to make any laurel. Some ideas may create, that idea is going to be converted into the executable one. Means as a team we need to work, as a team we need to contribute, then only we can able to find the better one, and we can also come up with the structured process. Next, the models or the design thinking: emphasize, define, ideate, prototype, test. So within 2 minutes I will explain these things. This is a critical thinking process paradigm shift. Empathize is nothing but individual's perspective. We must understand all those things. Based on that we can define, this is a problem is there, we are going to working for that thing. So we can define all the thing. Based on that define, we need to create the ideate. Ideate means creates ideology. Okay, idea 1 2 3 4, n number of ideas may create. Finally we can conclude with some specific idea. For that idea we can move into the prototype. Prototype is nothing but creation of sample, creation of sample. Similarly, if you view the mobile phone, if you want to before view the mobile phone, some dummy product is also there into the market. If you visit the Purvika or some other else, okay, if you want to purchase any new mobile phone, the new mobile phones are already packed and the seal is not open. Okay, so the new product is not able to give the demo. So in that thing they can also have some dummy mobile phone. Using that phone you can also view what are all the features, functionality, and the color factors and the dimension, weight, all those things you can view, but that is not the original product. Similar to for the testing purpose they can use. Okay, so as a thing we must create the prototype. That is a prototype. If that prototype develop means the user can able to view the prototype and they can also able to give the suggestion. Okay, if you develop a new product using the innovation technology, if you develop the prototype means that prototype is handed over to the customer. That customer can easily view all those things and analyze the thing, and they can able to give the feedback. Next stage is testing. Testing is very very important. Without testing, if you launch a particular product into the market means if it may fail. So before launching the particular product we must focus much on the testing. Testing, if you spend much time for testing, we must spend less time for maintenance. That is a logic in the innovation culture, and that is a logic in the product development activity. It is also applicable for hardware product or software product, anything else. So if you purchase any new product like car or bike or any mobile phone, all those things, tested okay, some stickers are fixed in the product. The meaning is they have already checked the working condition of the particular window, working condition of the particular bike, working condition of the engine, working condition of the tire, and all those things they have certified. Everything is properly tested. So if you spend much time for testing, we no need to worry about the maintenance. Very less maintenance may be there. Otherwise, if the system fail is happen, we can focus much on the all the factors. So that is very very critical for that thing. Next, the critical thinking or the design thinking circle is focus on divergent to convergent. Already in the first slide we can also there discuss here the divergent. What is mean by divergent? Multiple viewpoints we can receive using the imaginations. We can receive lot of points. Okay, lot of points we go discuss here. All the points are going to be converge with some main thing, converge with from divergence. Then only we can able to develop the solution. Okay, if in 10 number of ideas are there, 10 number of ideology is there. Okay, so that by using that mapping technique, by using that mind mapping, we can discuss here and we can conclude with the convergent version of the ideology. Okay, so then only we can able to define, then only we can able to define. Sometime you may face some question, define, like that some questions may ask. Newton's third law, define software engineering, define cloud computing, define Kirchhoff law. Means we no need to write any story regarding this thing. Okay, define means it is a within 2 lines or 3 lines we can explain that thing, we can explain clearly. So that is very clear, there is no doubt about the divergivity. Divergence is not there in the definition. As a divergent means you can able to write 1 paragraph, 2 paragraph or 3 pages. Okay, that is a very very big story you can write, but as a definition you can conclude with specific thing. Okay, so every action there is a reaction. That is a crisp point, that is called, that is a clear definition. Okay, so using that thing we can converge, then only we can ideate. So you can collect the feedback from n number of people. As an innovator you can collect the feedback from 10 or 20 or 30 number of peoples. Okay, whether this kind of product is useful for you, what kind of product you already use regarding this thing. If we develop this kind of product, how much impact you can create in your life. All those points we can create, collect. Okay, n number of people are giving n number of views. Okay, finally you can define with some specific area, some specificity is needed. If you specifically come with that conclusion, we can create the ideology. That definition is going to be created into the ideate. Okay, what are all the possible solutions for that information? Okay, in the technical manner we can discuss n number of ideate, ideology, n, because if you have a single problem it may have multiple solutions. In multiple technology, multiple dimensionality is there for the particular ideology. So these are all the things are finally you can create, that thing is going to be ideate. Okay, after that thing, what is the best solution for that thing? We can come up with the best solution. If you have 10 number of solution, if you neglect that 9 solution means we need to have a proper justification. For that reason it is not suitable, for that reason it is not suitable. It is okay, but the price wise it is not okay for that customer. It means We need some proper explanation is needed, proper ideology is needed to eliminate all those things. So, okay. So, a number of ideology is going to be created. That ideology is going to be narrowed down to the iteration for providing the better solution. So, if you choose one solution means that solution is a standalone solution apart from the already proposed 9 solutions. So, that is a thing. So, as a innovator, as a critical thinker, we need to understand this ideology. Then only we can able to come up with the best product at the end of the life cycle. So, it is not only a single process. So, it is a sequence of process. If you focus on the process, definitely it provide the better solution. So, as an engineer, as a innovator, we need to have this kind of ideology for developing the best product into the market using the critical thinking. So now the time is 11:39. I have taken 1 hour of time. So now I want to conclude with that thing. So if you have any other queries regarding this thing, we can discuss here. Now it is a time for the organizer to take care of this remaining session.
Certainly, it is a thought-provoking section, sir. Thank you, sir, for sharing your ideas on this occasion. I would like to thank our resource person who accepted our request and spared his time. Next, I thank beloved Principal Dr. S. Sundar Rajan and Dr. S. Sainab Sarina, Assistant Professor EDC, for their consistent support to conduct this webinar. I also thank our staff coordinator, Mr. M. Ashok Kumar, Assistant Professor ECA, and I thank everyone who attended this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for providing the opportunity. I am very happy to present with the young minds. Now
Thank,
one
thank
hour
you,
of
Jackie.
time is there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. So, dear
Thank you.
participant, kindly fill the feedback form to get your certificate. Thank you all.